If you're explaining yourself to a narcissist, you're losing, say this instead. Hey, it's your friend Mel, and I'm not going to sugarcoat this because I love you. The minute you feel that itch to defend, to clarify, to march out the bullet points and the receipts, you've already stepped into their game. That's not a conversation. That's a cage. And you don't belong in a cage. You know the moment I'm talking about. They bait a little jab wrapped in just being honest. They interrupt. You get 2 words out and they're already rolling their eyes. They twist your words. I never said that, even though you both know they did. They demand that you justify your feelings. Why are you so sensitive? Explain to me how that hurt you. And then after you open your heart and hand them the map, they punish you for having a heart at all. Silent treatment, sarcasm, a smear about how dramatic you are. It's a trap they designed to feed on your energy. How does it feel in your body? Tight chest, hot face. Your brain turns into a courtroom, and suddenly you're the defense attorney, frantically building a legal brief in your head. You're scrolling through texts, time-stamping conversations, drafting closing arguments that never seem to land. Meanwhile, you're arguing with someone who isn't arguing in good faith. And here's the tough love truth. You cannot win an argument with someone who is committed to misunderstanding you. The misunderstanding is not a flaw in the conversation. It is the strategy. It keeps you spinning. It keeps them in control. So you need a way out that doesn't keep you feeding the machine. You need one sentence that ends the game because it ends your participation in the game. 7 words. That's it. You'll say it once, calm, clean, clear, and then you will follow it with action. We are going to practice it in text, so you stop writing legal briefs, on phone calls, so your calm voice becomes your power move, and in person, so your body exits instead of your mouth. Trying to win a debate, you will never win. By the time we're done, your nervous system will know the move by heart. Now, quick but critical safety frame. This tool is for emotional manipulation, baiting, and the spin cycle of petty power plays. If you are in immediate danger, if there is violence, threats, stalking, you do not use a sentence. You use a safety plan, support, and the law. Full stop. Your life comes first. For the rest of these manipulative loops, hear me. The second you start defending, you've surrendered your peace. We're going to reclaim it with 7 words and follow through. Stay with me. This is going to change the way you handle every single baited hook that comes your way. Here's the mechanism. This isn't a debate. It's a power grab. The goal is not mutual understanding. The goal is your reaction, your attention, your energy, your regulation. When you react, you hand over the steering wheel of your nervous system. They're not seeking the truth. They're seeking control. And the fastest way to control someone is to knock them off balance and then make them explain themselves. If they can get you hot, frantic, defending, they just won. Why? Because in that state, you'll do anything to feel okay again, over-explain, apologize for things you didn't do, agree to terms you hate, spiral for hours. Your reaction becomes their regulation. They borrow your stability by destabilizing you. And yes, that's as messed up as it sounds. You are not bad at communicating. Stop that story. You're trying to communicate with someone who weaponizes communication. They use words like baited hooks, and they love the theater, the sighs, the pauses, the I don't know what you're talking about, the you're making a big deal out of nothing. It's performance designed to make you doubt yourself so you chase their approval. Your body knows it's a trap. Before your brain catches up, you feel that heat rise, that tightness, that urge to fix. That urge is not weakness. It's your nervous system scanning for safety and certainty. Of course you want to clarify. Clarity is calming. But with a baiter, clarity is not the outcome. Confusion is the outcome. On purpose. Let me name the 3 classic moves so you can spot them in the wild. First, bait. A jab disguised as concern or a loaded question that's actually an accusation. Wow, must be nice to not care about anyone but yourself. Are you going to wear that? You respond, boom, you're hooked. Second, flip. The blame boomerangs back to you so fast you get whiplash. You raise a concern. Suddenly you're crazy, too sensitive, always starting drama. Third, fog. This is the word salad. the circular logic, the goalposts marching across the field. I never said that. You're twisting my words. After everything I've done for you, they dump smoke into the room until you can't see straight, and then you're vulnerable to the next bait. And then you do the thing I do, you start over-functioning. You start managing their feelings. What the hell, Mel? You soften your tone. You add 17 qualifiers. You hand them a dissertation with footnotes. You think if you can just be precise enough, loving enough, rational enough, it will land. It won't, not because you're not clear, but because clarity was never the assignment. Your reactivity was. So we're going to detangle by detaching. Let them bait, let them roll their eyes, let them invent a storyline where you're the villain. Let them be exactly who they're showing you they are, and stop trying to force reality to cooperate with your fantasy of a fair debate. That let them energy is the pregame stretch for your boundary. Because when you stop pulling on the rope, the tug of war ends. That's what we need now. A single, clean line that cuts the cord without throwing a grenade. A sentence that ends your participation, gives them no new content to attack, and returns your regulation back to the only person qualified to run it. You. We'll say it once, and then we'll back it up with behavior. That's where your power lives. Here's the line. Slow, clean, no extras. I'm not discussing this with you anymore. Again, because your brain needs it on a loop. I'm not discussing this with you anymore. Once more so, your nervous system hears. You mean it. I'm not discussing this with you anymore. That sentence works because it is a boundary, not a rebuttal. It doesn't feed the machine. There are no facts to litigate, no defense to pick apart, no fresh bait for them to twist into a new accusation. You are not trying to be understood. You are ending your participation. That's why it's 7 words. That's why it's powerful. It's a door you close. And when you close it, you don't stand there arguing through the peephole. Contrast that with what you usually do, what I used to do when you get hooked. You start stacking context. What I meant was, let me clarify. To be fair, there's another side. You trot out receipts, screenshots, timelines, intent, tone analysis, and a closing argument that would make a federal prosecutor weep. And every extra word becomes an opening they exploit. You think fairness will calm it down? It won't. You think if they just understood you, they'd stop. They won't. Because understanding you was never their objective. Your reaction was, so the power move is tone, neutral, calm, almost boring, no edge, no sarcasm. You are not punishing them. You are ending your participation. Do not rise to the bait. Don't sell it. Don't sigh. Don't sneak in a dig. Just a steady, even delivery, like you're reporting the weather. I'm not discussing this with you anymore. Period. If your voice shakes the first time, that's fine. Courage is allowed to tremble. Let them think what they think. Let them roll their eyes, stomp, call you names in their head, rewrite the scene so they look like the hero. Let them, and let me, this is your new mantra, let me protect my peace. Let me stop feeding the fire. Let me choose to be done, even if they're not done spinning. Mini drill, right now. Say it out loud 3 times. Yes, out loud. Your anxiety will beg you to keep talking, to add a soften the blow sentence, to explain that you're not trying to upset them. Don't. Feel that urge rise like a wave and let it pass. Again, I'm not discussing this with you anymore. Again, I'm not discussing this with you anymore. Again, I'm not discussing this with you anymore. Notice the discomfort? That's not danger. That's the habit of over-explaining, losing its grip. And here's the important nuance that separates lip service from real change. The sentence is the boundary. The follow-through is the power. If you say it and then keep arguing, you just train them that your boundary is fake. If you say it and then engage with their next jab, you handed them new content to attack. Say it once, then you change the channel with your behavior. That's the part that teaches people how to treat you, and more importantly, teaches you that you can trust yourself to end the game. Let's talk about why you can't stop explaining, because this is the moment that hijacks you. It's not because you're weak. It's not because you're bad at communicating. It's because uncertainty flips your anxiety switch. Your brain starts whispering, if I can just get them to understand, they'll stop. If I explain it the right way, this will settle. That is anxiety bargaining for certainty. It promises you relief if you chase resolution. And with someone who baits you, there is no resolution coming. They keep the door cracked just enough that you keep reaching for the handle. And that's how you lose hours of your life to a conversation that was never a conversation in the first place. I do it too. I rehearse in the shower. I draft the perfect speech in my head, line by line. I send the paragraph text, polite, crystalline, bulletproof, and then I stare at my phone like it's a slot machine. 3 dots, no dots. I reread my message 12 times, editing in my head as if I can retroactively fix something. They don't respond correctly, and I panic. So I send a follow-up to clarify, another to soften, another to make sure they know I'm not mad. Then I hate myself for overdoing it and I spiral. What the hell, Mel? This is the addiction to resolution. Your nervous system craves the hit of closure the way a gambler craves one more pull. And in narcissistic dynamics, closure is withheld on purpose because your chase is their control. Here's the truth bomb you need to hear. Control is anxiety in disguise, and often it's love in the wrong outfit. You learned somewhere, maybe in a chaotic home, maybe in a tense marriage, maybe on a team with a volatile boss, that if you explain more and manage harder, you can keep the peace. You take responsibility for everyone's emotions, so you don't get blindsided. You think you're helping, you think you're loving, but when you're explaining yourself to a baiter, you're not creating peace. You're paying a toll to cross a bridge that goes nowhere. Every extra word funds the dysfunction. So you need a pivot that interrupts the compulsion. And I'm going to give you 3 quick questions. Whose business am I in? If you're managing their opinions, their reactions, their storyline, you're in their business. Get back in yours. Your sentence, your tone, your exit. What am I afraid will happen if I don't explain? Name it. They'll think I'm rude. They'll smear me. They'll leave. Okay, let them think. Let them talk. If leaving is the price of you having a boundary, that is information you needed. What feels like peace right now? Not the fantasy of changing them, what action calms your body in this minute. Usually it's 7 words and a pause. It's putting the phone face down. It's stepping out of the room. It's breathing into your belly and walking to the kitchen for water instead of walking into the trap. When you ask those questions, you move from anxiety's demand for certainty to your own commitment to peace. You stop auditioning for a verdict and start acting like the judge of your own courtroom. This is why the sentence works. It's not just communication, it's regulation. It's the exit ramp your nervous system has been begging for. And yes, your anxiety will pitch a fit the first few times you take it. That's okay. Courage can tremble and still do the right thing. Now that you understand why you get hooked, we're going to practice the move, how to say the sentence cleanly, and more importantly, what to do when they try to reel you back in. Because they will. And you're going to show yourself that you can hold the line, change the channel, and choose peace over the performance every single time. Here's the rule, and I want you to treat it like law. You say the sentence once, and then you change the channel with your behavior, period. If you say it and say it and text more, say it and argue about saying it, you just reopen the cage you're trying to walk out of. The boundary is a door. Your exit is the proof. Let's make this bulletproof. After I'm not discussing this with you anymore, you pair it with action. On the phone, I'm not discussing this with you anymore. Then you end the call. Not rudely, not slamming, just click. In text, send the sentence. Then stop. Put the phone down. Mute the thread. In person, say it. Then stand up and leave the room. Or if you're stuck, car, meeting, airplane, you physically turn your body. You look out the window. You open your laptop. You put in earbuds. Channel changed. The message is not your words. It's your withdrawal from the game. I need to warn you about the 4 trap doors that yank you back into the mess. It's called JADE. Justify, argue, defend, explain. Those are the 4 doors back into the cage. I didn't mean that's justify. You're twisting. That's argue. I'm not the one who, that's defend. Here's what happened. That's explain. They will knock on every one of those doors because they know once you open one, you're in. Lock them. If you feel a jade urge rise, imagine your hand on a doorknob. Take your hand off, breathe, exit. Use this visual. It's a tug of war. They're yanking, baiting, demanding you pull. You do not win by hauling harder. You win by dropping the rope. The rope is your reaction. The second you let it go, the game collapses. They might stumble backward. They might yell, "Coward, you're running away." Let them. Your job is not to convert them. Your job is to protect your peace. Do you need a second line? Only if they chase you down the hallway. Keep it clean and closed. I've said what I'm going to say. That's it. Not a new debate, not an invitation. It's a reminder that the door is shut. Give yourself a time boundary too. And hear me. This line is for you, not for them. We can talk tomorrow when we're calm. That's a nervous system reset. It buys your body a window to regulate, to get out of the spin, to sleep on it. Tomorrow might come and you'll still choose not to revisit it. That's okay. The point is signaling to your brain, we are safe, we are done for now. Say it once, change the channel, train your life that you mean it. Now we're going to run drills because the medium changes the pressure. Texts make you overtype. Calls tempt you to soothe. In person pulls your body into the arena. We'll practice all three so your exit becomes automatic no matter where the bait shows up. Let's get into your thumbs because texting is where your anxiety dresses up like a paralegal and starts drafting exhibits. You know the scene. Your phone buzzes. You see the name that already spikes your heart rate. And there it is, the bait, an accusation, a guilt trip, a loaded question with a trapdoor underneath it. Your brain surges, your fingers hover, the three dots appear on their side, and it feels like a countdown you have to beat. You start composing a legal brief. Delete. Retype. Add it to be fair. What the hell, Mel? No. This is where you install the 7-word tool and shut the power off to the whole circus. Role play number 1. Accusation. Their text lands, "You're selfish. You never care about me." Your impulse is to paste a calendar of every ride you gave, every meal you cooked, every favor you did. That is you walking right back into the cage. Instead, breathe, feel your feet, and type exactly this. "I'm not discussing this with you anymore." Send. That's it. Then stop. Phone face down. Mute the thread. Do not follow it with, "I care a lot, but." That but is gasoline. The sentence is the boundary. The silence is the follow through. Role play number 2, word twisting. They send, "So you admit you're a terrible partner. You feel the spike." No, I didn't say that. What I said was stop. That is you jading in your own head. You do not correct. You do not clarify. You do not hand them fresh content to mangle. You type the same line. Yes, the same one. Calm, clean. "I'm not discussing this with you anymore." Send. Then you put the phone down like it's hot because it's hot with your need to be understood. Let them think what they think. Let them draft their fan fiction about you. Your job is not to edit their novel. Your job is to guard your peace. Role play number 3, rage plus spam. They light you up with a rapid fire barrage, 20 messages in 5 minutes, love bombing, then name calling, then answer me, then wow ghosting, then threats to tell everyone you're unstable. This is where most of us cave with the one last message to make it stop. That last message is a slot machine pull that tells their nervous system, keep hitting. It pays. You practice the discipline of silence. Mute the thread. If your nervous system is screaming, put the phone in another room, go outside, drink water, text a safe friend, "I'm off my phone for an hour, hold me to it." No explanations to the baiter. No stop texting me. Silence is the message. Your absence is the reset. Now, a practical guardrail so you don't backslide, the one screen guideline. If your reply doesn't fit in one short line, you're explaining one line, one sentence. If you have to scroll to read it, you wrote a brief, not a boundary. Delete and go back to the script. And hear me, because this is the freedom line. You do not need to be understood to be done. You need to be safe and at peace. Let them misunderstand you. Let them call you cold. Let them tell a story where you're the villain. Let them. You be done. That is what adulthood looks like inside a phone. Texts are actually the easiest place to practice this because you can pause, you can breathe, you can draft and delete. The real pressure test is when you're on a call and their voice is in your ear, pushing for a reaction. That's where your calm delivery becomes the power move. And that is exactly what we're going to train next. On the phone, here's the trap. They talk faster, they interrupt, they stack questions without giving you air, and your body thinks it has to keep up. Your heart rate spikes, your voice climbs, you start matching their pace like you're trying to jump on a moving train. That's how you get hooked. The escalation loop loves speed. So your power move is the opposite. You slow down. You drop your volume by 30%. You flatten your tone. You let your nervous system lead your mouth. When you talk like a calm metronome, you regulate you and you don't hand them the lever to crank you up. Here's the delivery. Before you speak, inhale through your nose, feel your feet, exhale longer than your inhale, touch your chest with one hand to cue your body. We're safe. Then lower your voice into a neutral, almost boring register. No edge, no heat. You are not here to win. You are here to end your participation. You say the sentence once, I'm not discussing this with you anymore, and then you end the call. That's the move. Role play 1, interrupting. You start, what I'm saying is, and they cut you off. Oh my God, you're doing it again. You always stop. Do not fight for airtime. Fighting for airtime is how you lose air. Let them finish their spin. Take that slow breath. Then, steady and even. I'm not discussing this with you anymore. Click, call ended. Not a slam, a standard end to a call that was going nowhere. If they call back immediately, you don't answer. You have already communicated. Let them leave a voicemail that you don't need to hear right now. Your silence is the reset. Role play 2, mocking. They laugh into the phone. Oh, so now you're the victim? Classic. That laugh is engineered to hook your pride so you prove you're not weak. Don't. Pride is a terrible lawyer. Slow voice, neutral tone, no sarcasm. I'm not discussing this with you anymore. End the call. They will call you dramatic. Let them. You're not dramatic. You're done. Now, the hang-up guilt. I know what your brain says. Hanging up is rude. You were trained to stay polite at your own expense. Hear me. Staying present for abuse is not polite. It's self-abandonment. You're not punishing them. You're protecting you. You are allowed to end a call that's harming your peace. In fact, that's your job. Practical tactics to make this easier. Put the phone on speaker so it's not glued to your ear distance, helps you stay regulated. Stand up. Pacing bleeds adrenaline. One hand on your chest, one on your belly. Feel your voice come from your diaphragm, not your throat. Pre-decide your exit line and write it on a sticky note by your phone. I'm not discussing this with you anymore. That way you don't improvise under pressure. Set a 3-minute timer before you even dial. When it goes off, you either end the call or schedule a time to revisit when calm. I'm not discussing this with you anymore. We can talk tomorrow. Then end it. If you know a certain person is a guaranteed escalator, call them when you can immediately transition to something regulating. After walk, shower, music, not when you're trapped in your car for an hour. This is the pattern. Calm delivery plus immediate exit stops the escalation loop. That's how you teach your body you're safe and teach them you're unavailable for the circus. And yes, phones are still easier than in person because you can click a button. In person is the real test because your body gets pulled into the arena. So next, we're going to script your body language, your physical exits, and exactly what to do if you can't leave. In person is where the trap gets teeth because now they've got proximity, facial expressions, and intensity on their side. They step closer, they crowd the doorway, they raise an eyebrow that says, prove yourself. And your body does what bodies do. It surges. Heart up, jaw tight, shoulders forward, eyes lock. That's fight mode. And if your body is in a fight, your mouth is going to try to win. This is why I'm telling you, in-person boundaries are physical, not philosophical. You don't out-argue a baiter face-to-face. You out-regulate them by exiting with your body. First, your stance. Plant your feet hip-width apart. Take one slow step back. Angle your body about 45 degrees so you're not squared off like a boxer. Unlock your knees. Drop your shoulders. hands relaxed, open, visible, no pointing, no fists on hips, unclench your jaw, look at a neutral point center of their forehead, a spot on the wall over their shoulder, the exit sign, anything that keeps your eyes soft and your brain out of the duel. Inhale through your nose, longer, exhale out your mouth. Then deliver the sentence, calm, and even, I'm not discussing this with you anymore. Role play 1, the kitchen ambush. They corner you by the sink. Unbelievable. You never help. You ruin the weekend. This is all your fault. You feel the spike. Stance first, step back, angle, jaw loose. Neutral gaze, slow breath. I'm not discussing this with you anymore. Then you move. Not later, not after a rebuttal. Move your body out of the arena, walk to the bathroom and lock the door. Step outside and feel air on your face. Grab your keys and sit in the car with the engine off and the doors locked. If they shadow you down the hallway, you don't turn and teach. You keep walking. Let them mutter. Let them misinterpret. Let them tell the cabinets you're running away. Let them. Let me protect my peace. Role play 2, the public scene. Restaurant, grocery line, family gathering. They crank the volume to embarrass you into performing. You do not match their volume. You do not make a speech to the room. Quiet voice, right to their ear if you need to. I'm not discussing this with you anymore. Then you remove yourself. You stand up. You pay the bill for your portion if needed. You leave. You don't gesture. You don't roll your eyes. You don't narrate your exit. Boundaries aren't theater. Pick up your bag and go. If a host or cashier looks concerned, a simple "I need a minute" is enough. You don't owe a public TED Talk on your boundary. Role play 3, co-parenting or workplace where you can't leave. Exchange at school, staff meeting, court-mandated drop-off. You still say it once. I'm not discussing this with you anymore. Then you gray rock, short, bland, logistical only. Pickup is at 5. Please email that. Not available for this conversation. Same tone, same words like a broken record. Eyes to a neutral point, pen in hand. Write the time and place to keep your body anchored. Minimal nods, no extra adjectives. When the container ends, the bell rings, the meeting wraps, you exit. Document the facts later with calm, not color. This is the mantra that frees you. Let them be mad. Let them misunderstand. Let them call you names in their head. Let me step back. Let me breathe. Let me choose my exit. Let me go back to my business and my peace. And because I love you and I want you safe, next we're going to add the safety structure, the 3 caveats that make sure you don't misuse this and get hurt. Boundaries protect your peace. Safety protects your life. We're going to cover both. All right. 3 caveats. So you use this power tool wisely and you don't get hurt. Caveat 1, danger. If there is physical intimidation, threats, stalking, property destruction, or violence, this is not a communication problem. It's a safety problem. You do not stand in the blast radius to prove you can say a sentence. You leave. You get to a locked room, a car, a neighbor's porch, a public place. You call a safe person. You call security. You call the police if you need to. You contact a domestic violence hotline or a local shelter to make a plan. Spare keys, cash card, charger, copies of IDs, meds stashed where you can grab them. Code word with a friend so they know to come, or call help. If kids are involved, simple scripts and a practiced exit go bag. Document what's happening, dates, times, photos of damage. Save voicemails stored somewhere safe. Your body's alarm is not drama. It's data. Avoiding abuse is called self-respect. Let them call it running away. Let them. You choose life over the performance. Caveat 2, rights and logistics. There are arenas where you must advocate. Legal issues, HR, custody, housing, school. Use written channels whenever you can. Move conversations to email, co-parenting apps, or formal tickets. Keep it factual and short. Dates, times, requests, next steps. Per my understanding, please confirm in writing. That protects you and reduces spin. When possible, use third parties, mediators, union reps, HR, your attorney, a trusted supervisor so you're not alone in the ring. If you need to set the sentence on the phone, pair it with logistics and writing after. As stated, I'm not discussing this with you anymore. For pickups, please use the app. You are not being extra. You are creating a paper trail, which is the adult version of a seatbelt. You don't wear it because you expect a crash. You wear it because life happens. Caveat 3, boundaries aren't ultimatums. I'm not discussing this with you anymore is not a threat. It's information about what you will do. You are not trying to control their response. You are choosing your participation. If they calm down later and approach respectfully, you may choose to re-engage on your terms. If they escalate, you follow through and exit. That's not punishment. That's consistency. And yes, they might label you avoidant, cold, immature. Let them. You are allowed to avoid chaos. You are allowed to avoid abuse. You can still love someone and refuse to discuss certain topics that go nowhere. You can love and decide this relationship as it currently operates is not workable for your mental health, your kids, your career, your life. Use the sentence to protect yourself, not to fix them. Your peace is your job, and their growth, if it ever happens, is theirs. And once you can hold this line, the next layer isn't words, it's grief. It's accepting who they are instead of who you keep hoping they'll become. That's where we're heading next, out of the fantasy of potential and into the reality of the pattern, so you can make the hardest choices with clear eyes and a steady heart. Here's the hard truth, and I'm saying this with love because I've had to say it to myself in the mirror. The reason you keep explaining, keep reopening the chat, keep stepping back into the ring is because you're still in love with potential. You're hoping that if you land the perfect sentence, the real them will finally walk through the door. You're not arguing with the person in front of you. You're negotiating with a fantasy. And every time you do, you abandon the one person you're actually responsible for. You. Reality-based relationships are where your peace lives. What does that mean? You love the person who is in front of you today, their patterns, their choices, their capacity, not the draft you've got in your head of who they could become if you coached hard enough. You stop editing their script and start reading the text as written. Do they apologize and adjust after feedback? Or do they sulk, spin, blame, and bait? Do they respect a no? Or do they push until you break? That's the relationship. Not the vacations, not the promises, not the I'll do better, the pattern. And yes, accepting that feels like grief because it is grief. You're letting go of the movie you've been watching in your mind, the reconciliation scene, the accountability monologue, the finally they get me ending. It's tender. It's sad. There will be a part of you that whispers, if I stop trying, I'm giving up. No, you're not giving up. You're choosing clarity over chaos. You're choosing to stop bargaining with reality so you can build a life that actually exists. This is why the 7-word sentence is so powerful. It doesn't just end a fight. It reveals information. When you say, I'm not discussing this with you anymore, and you follow through, what comes next is the X-ray. Do they respect it? Okay, let's talk later, even if they're annoyed. That's data. Do they escalate mocking, raging, doubling down? That's data. Do they ice you out with the silent treatment to punish you for having a boundary? Also data. When you stop feeding the argument, you finally see what's left standing without your effort propping it up. I need you to hear this with your whole heart. You are not responsible for their feelings about your boundary. You are responsible for whether you abandon yourself to manage their feelings. You can be kind and still be done. You can love someone and still refuse to debate the same dead topic for the 100th time. You can choose to step out of the ring and let them think whatever they want. Let them spin a story where you're the villain. Let them text paragraphs to the void. Let them. You come back to your business, your peace, your choices, your next right action. And when the grief hits, and it will, don't confuse it with a sign you made the wrong move. Grief is proof you're facing what's true. It will try to drag you back into explaining just to make the ache stop. That's where we're going next. I'm going to give you a simple aftercare routine. 3 steps you can run every time after you set the sentence so you don't collapse into guilt, pick up the rope, and start over. You're learning to end the performance and return to your peace, and that muscle needs care as much as it needs courage. Okay, You said the sentence. Your heart is pounding, your stomach's tight, your brain is sprinting down the hall trying to grab the rope you just dropped. That's normal. That's withdrawal from the conflict loop. So here's the 3-step reset you run every single time so you don't crawl back for one more round of, let me explain. Step 1, regulate. We start with your body because your nervous system is the engine running this show. In through your nose for 4, out your mouth for 6. Again, one hand on your chest, one on your belly. Feel the exhale lengthen. Drink a full glass of water. Cold on your wrists or a splash on your face resets your vagus nerve. Stand up, walk to the mailbox, shake out your hands, stretch your calves against the wall, do 10 slow squats. I don't care how silly it feels. Motion metabolizes adrenaline. Remind yourself out loud, calm and even. I ended the conversation. I'm safe. I'm allowed to be done. The urge to send one last text is adrenaline, not wisdom. Let the wave pass. 90 seconds. Breathe, water, move. Step 2, business check. Ask, whose business was I in? If your mind is crawling into their head, what they think, what they'll say, what story they're telling, you're in their business. Get out, come back to yours. What is my business right now? Not tomorrow, not next week, right now. Sleep is your business. Your kids' homework is your business. The dog needs a walk, that's your business. Your email deadline, your meds, your dinner, your shower, your pillow. Pick one concrete, non-dramatic, next right step and do it. Put the phone in another room while you do it so you're not yanked back by the 3 dots. You are not the manager of their reaction. You are the CEO of your choices. Step 3, peace choice. Ask what feels like peace in the next 10 minutes. Not forever, 10 minutes. Maybe it's blocking their number for the night and putting your phone on do not disturb. Maybe it's a lap around the block with no podcast, just air. Maybe it's calling a safe friend and saying, please remind me I already ended that conversation. Maybe it's journaling 2 lines. What I know is what I'm letting go of is maybe it's music, a shower, legs up the wall, folding laundry slowly while you breathe. Peace is not a thought. It's an action you take in your own life. Choose it in tiny, immediate ways, and your system learns. We close, we care for ourselves, we move on. You repeat this sequence, boundary, exit, regulate, return to self until it becomes who you are. That's identity change. You become the person who doesn't debate dysfunction, who ends participation cleanly, who knows how to settle their own body and get back to their business. You're building a reflex. Reps make it automatic. And because I want this living in your back pocket, save this. Send it to the friend who keeps writing paragraphs. Yes, I am guilting and controlling you right now to do it because it will change your life and theirs. Hear me. You're not crazy. You're not weak. You're learning a skill. Practice it before you need it. Low stakes moments, mild annoyances. So when it counts, your mouth knows the sentence, your feet find the exit, and your nervous system returns to peace. I love you. I believe in you. Choose your peace and let everything else be exactly what it is.